Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to find a theme tune for this, aren't I? I don't think this is going to work. No, we don't want that. Don't even know what this is. Right, we don't want that. Go away. I can't work that out. Hi, how are you? You're going to help me this evening because we are going to try the first episode of TERF Talk Tuesday. I wonder if I'm live with you. Let's just keep talking until you see me. Hi. Oh, good, Paul. I'm glad you're here. I was beginning to think I'd messed up royally. Good evening, Mimi. Good evening, Insidious Row, Deb, Leslie. Hi. Right. Okay. I'm going to put the number in the chat. Anyone can ring me. We're going to try this all together because I tried it with my kids. Not quite sure how it worked, but here is the number for you to call. Yay! Good evening, the Band United. Hello, Radical Cartoons. Hi, Leslie. Look, let me just tell you while we're waiting. We will be, in fact, I'm going to edit the, I'm going to edit the, I'm going to edit the description so you can see, hey, Malcolm, with your $17.99 smack straight in there with a nice orange super chat. Thank you so very much. It's, I think that's someone ringing. How exciting. Okay, so you will be pushed straight through. Oh, you've gone. Why did you try that again? You will have to try that again, caller. So the number is 0204 515. Might even be one of my kids. 2100. So I might ring you back if you don't call me again. So this is how we're going to do it. You're going to call me and I'm going to accept the call right on time, not like an idiot. And then we are going to talk to each other and we're just going to see how this goes. This is a trial. Here we go. You ready? Hello, good evening.
Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting to get through.
You did get through. Hi, how are you? You can say your name or you don't have to.
I'll stay nameless if that's okay.
Okay, what would you like to say?
First I wanted to say, thank you for what you do, obviously, and everyone else that's standing for women. I just wanted to say, it's insane what's happening. I'm 23. I've already lost a job for my opinions.
Jesus.
I was working for a friend of 5 years in an industry that is quite kind of held on by that ideology. It was in a piercing studio, and someone sent a screenshot of an article that I'd shared on Twitter to her, and without even willing to give me a chance to talk, she fired me. I wasn't allowed to come back into the shop. I wasn't allowed to discuss anything with her. But we'd spoken about the prisons and the sports things the week before, and she agreed with me. And it was only when her money came into question that I was fired.
Oh, that's really awful.
It's absurd.
I'm so sorry. And you're really young as well. So it must be really difficult because a lot of 23-year-olds are completely going along with that. What's your friendship group like?
It's drastically smaller now. I did go stickering with one of my friends the other day. I widely using your videos kind of piqued her. Most of our stickers are still up. Some of them have been covered. But a lot of people don't agree with me. And ironically, most of the people that don't agree with me identify as non-binary. I've only ever seen them in heterosexual relationships. I'm a lesbian. Right. I've been assaulted by a trans woman quite violently. I've got scars from it. My flatmate at the time tried to get police involved, but I was really scared of being labelled transphobic. I was 17 or 18 at the time.
I'm so sorry.
And obviously, my views have done a 180 now, but it's pretty crazy.
Well, you're obviously doing something right, because you're really annoying and upsetting some people. I'm really sorry to hear about your assault. That's revolting, and it's never too late. If you ever feel like you want to report it, you are, it doesn't matter how long ago it was. If you feel that that's something that you need to do, and there's obviously a lot of groups, but young lesbian groups, I think, are going to begin appearing again. I just have a feeling that you as a collective have been pushed so hard now that I think a lot of people have really, really had enough. And I know a lot of older lesbians are trying to be more visible so that it is a path that is notably travelled, as opposed to people feeling really, really isolated. But thank you so much for calling, and all the best in the world.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Oh, go on, you have to call again. The rings are very, very short. Wow. The sound for the call is really low. Okay, let me improve that for you. I will try and switch that up. I don't know quite what I'm doing, as you know. Okay. So there's quite a few that I've got missed calls, so do phone me again, and I will endeavour to do whatever it takes to turn up the volume. But what a great first call from a 23-year-old. Wow. I can't imagine, can you? I mean, I'm 48, right? I can't imagine what it would be like to be a young person now anyway, with social media, but to have the added mix of this totalitarian sort of everyone must think the same on numerous issues, like not just on this particular issue, although I think this is about the worst one. So we've had callers who've called a couple of times. If you want to call back, I promise I won't ignore you. Here we go. Good evening. You are through to TERF Talk Tuesday.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Kelly. You're right.
I'm very good. How are you? Who are you? If you want to say it, you don't have to.
Yeah. My name's Anna. I'm that Anna on YouTube, and I came to Bristol the other day, and it was really good to see absolutely everyone there. It was just what a wonderful time it was, even though we, got barricaded in.
How did you find the event?
Yeah.
Did you feel like really uplifted and comfortable, or were you like more afraid?
Definitely much more uplifted, and like the strength of everyone I thought was just phenomenal, even in the face of trans activists and Antifa. I thought it was a wonderful event, even though they tried to intimidate us and all that nonsense, really. They're too scared to hear words, and that says everything about them and nothing about really what we're doing.
That is right. I mean, they did really love your speech, I feel.
Yeah, no, I get a bit angry. So I say I apologise. I apologise for nothing anymore.
No, don't.
I'm done with it. No,
we don't
never apologise for it. But I heard the young lady, the 23-year-old who lost her job, and I completely understand. I'm in the same position. I lost my job. I'm actually taking my ex-employer to court through the Free Speech Union and that, because I was just like, well, I don't agree with, radical politics within our institutions. And they were like, yeah, no, dirty TERF, dirty heretics. So,
so how have you found dealing with the Free Speech Union? Is it quite like for other people that would like to access them as sort of support and service? Has it been quite easy? Is it quite fast? Is it exactly what you anticipated?
It's much more than I anticipated, if I'm completely honest. I got recommended to them through I think, I can't remember what they were called now. Gosh, my memory is terrible. But I was recommended to them, and when I explained what my situation was, instantly put through. I had so much support. I still continue to get support. I've actually got a pro bono lawyer taking on this case because it is quite a big one. And you know, so much more I can't say on the call, but I'm quite happy to email you the details. But I think, you know, to the young lady who lost her job, 22 years old, you know, to lose her job because she knows what a woman is, it's mad. But I would like to extend my love and support to her and to anyone else in that position, because I know how difficult it is. It's like I'm very fortunate I've never been in an abusive relationship until I worked in the civil service.
Right.
And yeah, so love and support to her. And, you know, if she ever wants to contact me, you know, and, you know, for all of us, you know, this isn't right. So yeah, just wanted to kind of say that.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for calling. And if anyone's wondering who that Anna is, you're on YouTube, is that right? What's your channel?
Yeah, I'm on that. It's just that Anna as one word, or that Anna, because I like the way you pronounce that. I thought that was classy, that.
And you can often find this wonderful woman at our Speakers Corner events, and she does speak, and you will recognize that amazing accent. I love it. But really nice to hear from you. Thank you.
Angie, Kelly, you all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
All right, cheers. Bye.
See you later.
Oh, isn't this great? This is great. Anybody else? You can call. You don't have to say what your name is. You can have a comment. You can even ask me a relatively benign or fantastically personal question. Whatever it is, there are always things rumbling around in this space, including a stray hair, which I never know which side I'm on. So yeah. Okay, so what we've got now is we've got Leah. Look, I don't want to say that I single-handedly, there it is, I don't want to say that I single-handedly peaked the world when it came to Leah Thomas, because I'm pretty sure Will Thomas, there have been some incredible, really brave women that really have put themselves on the line throughout the United States. The Title IX women, who were the first beneficiaries of Title IX, they've certainly been doing a lot of work. Some of the parents have been doing a lot of work. Some of the press, including my good friend Madeline Kearns, and the Wolf Group, Hands Across the Aisle, they've all been helping. And of course, Save Women's Sports with Beth Seltzer, she's also been doing some amazing work. And I'm not going to say that the viral, I'm not a vet, but I know what a dog is, has got anything to everything to do with the change of heart. But I am pleased to be immodest and say that I feel I may have played a minor role. And every single one of you who shared that video, you can also take a big fat pat on the back. Isn't it mad, though, that we're saying, isn't it great? We've now got men out of women's sports. If I see another trans comment, oh, we've got trans women out of women's sports. No, there's no trans inclusion. We're keeping men out of women's sports. Let's not be silly about our language when we are in the throes of victory. No, siree. Thanks very much. Let me just do this. If you want to phone Standing for Women, me, if you want to call me now, it's 0204 515 2100. That number is in the chat. This is going quite well. And by well, I mean, technically, I haven't messed up yet. So Gaza was your £5. Thank you so very much. He says, keep up the great work. Honey Badger, you're welcome. You know that I think Gad Sad has written a book or calls himself a honey badger. I do kind of feel like I'm in good company, even if I do say so myself. Let's have a look. My mum, I'm just seeing because I've missed some super chats. Jedi with your £3 and your little, it's like a little fat apple with some pom-poms. Thanks so very much. Shannon says $25 a year for Free Speech Union, legal help in the UK. They have special events on Zoom and real life. They certainly do. Yogi Lai. Oh, hello, Yogi Lai. With your $10. She says she's the #1 fan, and she's got a cute little pair there. I'm going to give you the number again. In fact, I'm going to put it in my video. I'm using this particular number because it means I can switch it off when I'm not here. So I'm going to put here 0204 515 2100. Hello, good evening, unknown caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I think my YouTube is a bit behind. I didn't expect you to answer it.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying that I grew up in the care system I was born in the 70s, so I grew up in the care system. I suffered abuse, and I think that's why I sort of wanted to dress male, wanted to be seen as male. And I know that if that had happened today, I would have been trans. Even though, you know, I'm happy being a woman, but I just wanted to hide sort of my body from the world type of thing. So I just wanted to say that really, that there's a lot of women and girls that, you know, have been abused and don't want to show off the bodies, and may dress in typically men's clothes, but that doesn't mean they're a man.
Yeah, I can totally understand where you're coming from. I'm really sorry to hear about your childhood. When it comes to the care system, I know that, I mean, how do you know about their sort of LGB or rather T inclusion policies, and that children who are fostered now are more likely to be taken into what I like to call the trans cult? What do you think can be done to, because obviously the care system is just as a starting point, the fact that anyone gets into the care system is already usually a terrible, very vulnerable situation. What do you think can be done? What should be done to help children in care? Not just with the whole trans cult, but with just generally, what do you think would have helped you?
I mean, it's quite hard really, because I only sort of admitted to the abuse when I was sort of 19 and older.
Yeah.
So by that time, I would have just gone along with being trans or whatever else had happened to me, because you sort of hide that from people. I mean, I think you need sort of like holistic therapy for children to open up. You can't just say, right, you identify as this, or you're presented as this, you're this. There's got to be some therapies where, you know, trained people can pick up on, you know, children that are groomed and abused, because you hide it really well. And if the people that are abusing you are your foster parents, you don't want to be taken away from that placement, because you're going to lose all your friends and your pets and your school life and everything. So you're not, you know, you'll go along with anything just to not be moved to another unknown family again.
God, I can't imagine. Thank you so much for your courage in calling this evening, because I think you make a really good point that, you know, you children in care are already vulnerable, and this is just an added layer of assault, really. And thank you so very much. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Yeah,
I mean, it all goes to this conversion therapy bill and things like that, that, you know, you've got to look at what the child is going through as a whole. You can't just say, right, well, just trans this child and then everything will be okay, because it's not going to be.
No. And then of course they've got to recover from that. So if you take them into if they're already trying to escape from one thing, and then they eventually have to escape the body that they have potentially ruined, that's just added trauma, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for calling. It was really great to hear from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Oh gosh. It's just, it really frightens me. I talked to a woman who fostered children because she was fostered, and she had a really positive experience after a number of not very positive experiences. And she was one of the youngest foster parents in the United Kingdom. Oh, she was just, you know, sometimes you meet someone and they just make your spine shiver because they are just such exceptional humans. And she just had this thing that you thought, do you know what? I'm about 40 years older than her. I wasn't, I was about 20 years older than her. And I just thought I would feel safe and nurtured in your home. But she talked about the trans inclusion training that she'd had to do in order to be able to foster. It's really frightening the way that this particular ideology and the people that push it really do target vulnerable children, whether those are children with autism, children in care, children in foster care. It's really, really frightening. And I think it's frightening that anyone would want to do it, but we know there's always been sinister, nasty, nefarious people, right? What's really frightening is that those people who understand the vulnerability of children, who make the policies, are allowing this nasty, pernicious, untruthful ideology to penetrate into this most vulnerable section of children. Like, Jesus Christ. I honestly feel when I listen to callers like that, and I think about that foster parent, and I think about how do kids get into foster care? It's either through neglect or abuse from their own parents, or maybe their parents are unfit or have passed away. But whatever ushers them into the care system, they are already deeply traumatized children. To then layer it upon layer of trauma, uncertainty, it's just absolutely despicable. And for anybody to be in that industry, who, whether it's turning their blind eye to any sort of physical or sexual abuse or this trans ideology, I personally think they should be prosecuted in a criminal court. I think it's absolutely criminal. I think it is child neglect and endangerment. That's what I think it is, inviting this ideology into already vulnerable children's lives. Okay, I've missed some super chats. So I'm just Yogi Lai with $10. Thank you so much. I did that one. Sasha with your €10. Hi, JK. Hi, KJK. I'm an academic and I wanted to say how sorry for how my colleagues act towards you. You're doing the real and important work and a true leader. F those little and keep winning. Well, thank you so very much, Sasha. Look, let's be fair. Some women who probably should have known better got sucked into this monstering of me. And those women, aside from this monstering of me, so if you're following, let me tell you, if you're following on Twitter, over the years, over many years, I've had numerous kind of friendly fire, really nasty attacks by women who are often professional feminists or blue tick feminists or academic or whatever they might be. And then what happens is they attack me. I get really lovely, a bounty of really lovely defense by other women who say nice things about me, or just don't like hearing people that they admire say horrible things about other women. Now, each of those individual women, especially the blue tick women, they've earned their blue tick, and they've earned their blue tick because they do great work. Here is another call, people. Hello, good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesdays. How are you, and did you want to name yourself?
Christy Grace.
Hello, good evening, Christine. How are you, and what would you like to say?
I am known by many in the United States on Twitter who are part of our groups because I was wrongfully dismissed from university. I'm the James Estes equivalent in the US, but female, for reporting a professor who's a female who shoots up testosterone, who experimented on students and harmed them. And I reported the university to the Office of Civil Rights, and I was wrongfully dismissed. And now the government has taken up my case.
Wow. So where are you? Are you Canada, did you say, or US?
I'm in the United States,
Right.
in
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Oh, so you've got so you've actually, how's that worked then, that the government have got involved and had taken up your case on behalf of you, I assume?
I had to file multiple complaints with the United States government and with different organizations like the American Psychological Association, the American Counseling Association, because of other things that were happening in classes. I'm so happy and excited to talk to you. There's other things that were happening, like we were told we couldn't say the word woman, and that pedophilia should be normalized, that in our couples counseling class, another professor told us that if a woman was married to someone who has organophilia, we were supposed to counsel her to stay with the husband. So there's just tons of stuff. So I was recording audio and video in classes, and I managed to sneak it out, and then I reported to the federal government.
Oh my gosh. So tell, for the people, like we've seen some of the stuff like with Brett and Heather. So we've seen some of the stuff that's going on, but for those that don't have any idea, I mean, you've just named some stuff now, paedophilia being normalized, and women who are suffering domestic abuse through these autogynephiles. Tell us what it's like in American universities.
Critical thought is discouraged. This was for a program exactly the same, I guess, similar to James Estes. I was in a counseling program in a graduate program, and I was almost at the end of the top student. So it's really changed over the last few years at university for how the professors teach the class. The woke has really invaded everything that they are teaching, and they go along with it.
And how did you cope with it? Like, how did you keep your own sanity? Do you have good friends that you can confide in, or how did you do it?
In the United Kingdom, so initially, so this was a year ago, and I taught for 10 months on campus, and people on campus were bullying me, following me around. I got retaliated against. And I had reached out to Paul Rossi, who's familiar with some people in the United States. And he connected me with a group. He's a professor who was fired because he refused to teach the ideologies in the school where he was. So he connected me to a group who actually connected me to a private group that I can't name in the United Kingdom, that is a group of psychologists and therapists who are also fighting against this. And a handful of people in the United Kingdom were having Zooms with me who are therapists to help keep me steady through it. So people in the United Kingdom, I had no one in the US.
Wow. I know exactly that group. I know quite a few members of that group. I will too not name them. And when do you think, what was the sort of light bulb moment for you when you began to understand that something was really rotten throughout the universities in the US?
I went to more than one university. I went to 4. I went to school for more than one degree. My first degree was science, and my first major was biology, and that didn't have anything rotten going on. That was, we only talked about science, but it was my sociology degree where things were being brought up, but it wasn't the extent that it was in psychology once I got to graduate school. More than one psychology program where it was immediate, where if I said pregnant woman, the professor would say pregnant people. Gosh. Or, if we said the word trans, they would say trans, and that trans could be anything. And that if students talked and asked a question, they were told to not speak, and that they only could follow what was being taught in the class. And students were getting reprimanded and then getting bullied, and some students were bullying other students. Multiple students quit the program. So it wasn't just me reporting. Other students were having a lot of anxiety and panic attacks in classes as well.
God, are you hopeful?
Yes, because there are more of me that I can't name that we've connected through the group in the UK that that we're not naming. Yes, there are multiple students just like me. I'm in my 40s. I went to school after my divorce, after I had my daughter. And there, I've connected with other students who are also reporting. We just haven't made the news yet. And I'm hopeful because I filed complaints with the government, which is separate from a federal court where you would, in the United States, sue in civil court for money. So I filed with the government itself.
Right.
And I had so many documents, the government couldn't ignore the evidence that I have. The recordings, the audio, the video. I started recording undercover in classes. People didn't know I was recording, which is legal to do where I live. But the fact that the government took the case and is now investigating, I'm told by lawyers, is a big deal.
Wow. Well, the very best of luck. Please keep us posted. I am
Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, no, you're very welcome. But, you know, it takes, I don't know, we're all ordinary women, right? Until we have a moment where we find out whether or not we can be extraordinary. And you've certainly done that. So thank you very much. It's really lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. It was so lovely to talk to you. And thank you for everyone in the UK that's standing up. You gave me strength to come forward because I wasn't hearing of anyone else fighting or doing anything in the US. And it was watching you and women and people in the UK fighting back that helped me come forward. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Really great to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I know who's calling. We have somebody else calling from the US. The line is now free. What happens is YouTube is always a little bit behind. So if you ring, you might get through a lot quicker than you anticipate. So do call again. Isn't this great? I should have done it. I should have done it ages ago. Fallon Fox was on BBC. Here we are. Hello, good evening.
The line is now free.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
I'm trying to reach Kellie-Jay.
You have reached me. Basically, YouTube's a little bit behind. YouTube is a bit behind.
I had my speaker on and I couldn't, I'm nervous. Anyway, this is Melissa Cohen calling from Hollywood.
Melissa, hi, how are you?
I am doing excellent. We have a lot going on here, but I have heard a rumor that you are going to be in LA over the summer and holding Speaker's Corner, and nobody knows where that came from or if it's true. So I'm calling to find out.
Well, it's a little bit of my passport's in date, but my daughter's will need to be renewed. So we've got a bit of a backlog. So it's a maybe. It's a maybe right now. I would love to be in Hollywood for August, but it's a maybe. It's a fingers crossed moment.
Okay. Well, you know, this is where we've had the 2 We Spa protests, the Netflix counter protests. There were 5 of us, and we've done 4 protests at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, where Joanna Olson Kennedy is lowering the bar for child medicalization all over the world. And we also had an action for Detrans Awareness Day. So I know all of us here are very eager to support you and help you organize if you're going to be here. So I've talked to different women and everybody's excited.
Well, that would be amazing. I will crack on with making sure I can get there. For the people that don't know, because obviously the We Spa, I think most people watching this will know. Can you tell them who Joanne Olson Kennedy is, what she does, and what are her most evil acts?
Yes, I can. Dr. Joanna Olson Kennedy is the medical director of Children's Hospital LA. And she happens to be kind of at the forefront of disseminating information about child medicalization and kind of lowering the age at which doctors give puberty blockers and wrong sex hormones to children. I think she was the one who lowered it to like 8 to 11 now. And on the website of Children's Hospital LA, they have this thing, which is her chest study, quote unquote. And in it, there's a graph of the teenage girls who have undergone breast amputation. And it shows that 2 of those girls were 13 years old. So that's for everyone to see. They're not ashamed of it. It's on the childrenshospital.com or .org, I'm not sure, website. And so we protested in front of that hospital where she is the medical director of the child gender clinic. I don't think she performs the mastectomies herself, but you can see her on YouTube in video saying a lot of stuff, and anybody can investigate that. Olson Kennedy.
She did say that if girls at 13 regret their double mastectomy or their breast amputation, they can always have fake ones later on. I mean, she is
they can
evil.
Go and get them.
Yeah, she's evil. And I don't use that lightly as
Yeah.
an anti-theist, but she is, you know, if I ever thought, if I did think the devil was walking on this earth, I think a little piece of him might be in her. But listen,
and you can also find a video very quickly of Helen Weberly interviewing Joanna Olson Kennedy as a very honored guest, because she influences globally child medicalization. She's thought of as maybe the woman who has kind of the most advanced ideas on this. So she's giving these ideas to people in the UK who are then carrying them out.
Yeah. It's just insane. I mean, the only thing I think they can be persuaded by is how much money she's making, because she's, like I said, she's evil. She wants to give testosterone to really young girls as well, doesn't she?
Yes, but she claims she doesn't have much money, because I recently watched her in a video. I don't know if it's public or if it was a private thing that I was watching with some parents, where she was saying that she doesn't have money. She's not getting rich off this. And that may be true, but it's scary that that isn't even her motivation. She's married to a woman who wants to be perceived as a man, and who knows the layers of confusion that are going on here.
Yeah. And you mentioned the WeSpa, the Netflix, and the hospitals. Have you got any more protests planned in the near future?
Well, no, I was really hoping that there would have been a protest for Ricky Gervais when his special came out, but I think that they kind of put a damper on that at Netflix, even though the protest was done by outside agitators. It wasn't really Netflix people doing it. So I guess we're just waiting for something to happen. That's why I'd be really excited if you came, because I have a feeling you would anger these people. We have Antifa here at WeSpa. There was Antifa. They had this kind of one corner, and they had their rainbow Antifa flags, which haven't made it to the UK apparently. But they have these rainbow Antifa flags with Antifa symbols. I asked them, they told me, we had a conversation about it. I have pictures. And so people like to dress up in those Antifa costumes here. And I think they would love to perform. Everything's very theatrical here in Hollywood. We have way better costumes than you guys have at Bristol. Those guys, they look way, way more interesting than those Bristol dudes.
Well, I will come and see those beautiful Antifa and TRAs. Let me just say, Joanna Olson Kennedy, if you would like to come and defend yourself at any point against the comments by either myself or Belissa, you are welcome on this channel any time that you like, or just send a statement. We'd all love to hear the defense of the things that we have heard you say. And thank you very much, Belissa. I do hope to meet you in the flesh in the not too distant future. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so let me just tell you again, I'm ahead of you. So YouTube, you see everything a little bit behind. There's a super chat, visiting Walrus, £5. If you stopped painting all men and all women in big groups, you'd have more support from being painted with that brush. Oh, okay, visiting Walrus. I'm going to thank you for your £5. I'm going to tell you this. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I literally have married the love of my life, who is a man. I have 3 sons, 2 of whom are adults, who are the most wonderful people on the planet. When I talk about men, I'm literally talking about men as opposed to women. Hashtag not all men. Oh, I missed you. That person, please call again, and I promise to answer. I've obviously got it on 3 rings, so it's really quick. So I've got to be quicker. I won't be able to finish the sentence. I will have to answer straight away. I'm going to have to extend the ringing time. Let me just say, look, you can say whatever you like. On here, it is free speech. I may have to just avoid any legal action by inviting the people who have been talked about to come and defend themselves. That, you know, we haven't asked Joanna Olsen-Kennedy to come on. She can come on anytime. Hello, good evening. Welcome to TERF Talk Tuesdays. You can either say your name, but you don't have to.
Oh, it's James. Sorry, I was watching. There must be a big delay.
There is a big delay.
Hi.
Sorry, James. Hi.
Hi, but look, I'm just calling just to say, firstly, I saw you on TV a wee while ago and then on some different broadcasts. Not only was I impressed, I was astonished that someone actually stood up for these people, number one. 2, I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic, right? There should be more people who have the bravery, the cojones, sorry to use that term, but it's a breath of fresh air to see someone actually stand up to this madness that has been put forward as wokeness across society. For me, as a man in his 50s, I'm not only perplexed, I'm actually disgusted at these guys who dress up in dresses, literally, and purport to be female, and then want to take your spaces, your words, your names, your freedoms and everything that you guys work for. So as a man, I'm not going to be one of those people saying I'm an ally and stuff, but I just think it's absolutely disgusting how the media put forward this small group as the thing that we must follow, right? Be it the terms of phrase, you know, use my pronouns, use this, use that. Otherwise, you're going to be admonished, berated, castigated, and chastised for life, and all that other stuff, right? Especially the sports. That's one thing that drives me mad and insane. That you can have 6'4", broad-shouldered men winning in sports, and it's normal. I mean, what on earth is going on there? So anyway, I don't want to take up all your time. I'm really glad I got through. I think you're fantastic, and continue. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. Are you still there? Can I just ask what, as a man in your 50s, what piqued you? What was the thing that turned your head to this nonsense?
Well, I'll be brutally honest. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I was at work and a guy walked in dressed as a woman and I was told to treat it as normal. And I thought, okay, fair enough. His name used to be Jamie. And then he used it as a feminine Jamie. And I thought, okay, well, I can live with that. There used to be I think the bionic woman was called Jamie. I can live with that. Then he started to use the ladies' toilet, even though he had his appendage downstairs. And I thought, that's a bit weird. And then he started flirting with me. And I was like, oh, whoa, hold on a minute. You've got a willy, forgive me. You're dressed as a woman and you're trying to flirt with a straight man. And the entitlement of this guy was astronomical. It was phenomenal. And that's about 5 or 6 years ago. I thought, hold on a minute. This is not only a bit strange, but I was being told by HR and everyone else to accept it, to champion it. And to essentially anything he does, and he is a he, anything he does is to be welcomed, you know, and also to a point, it was uncomfortable to the fact that you had to pretend, and that's what it is. You had to pretend and suspend reality to make him feel good, everyone else feel uncomfortable. And then one day I turned around to HR and said, this is just a step too far, right? The guy is walking into the ladies' toilet. They all leave when he goes in there. He walks out as brash as anything. And it's all about his feelings. What about everybody else? So I was admonished. I was given a verbal warning. And that's the first time I thought, hold on. Then I saw it across the media and thought, what on earth is going on? So these people have leveraged themselves into positions where they can champion this cause, which is, you know, what, 1-2% of people? Yeah. And even if the people are, and in the old days, right, because I'm an old man, in the old days, we used to call them transvestites.
Yes.
And there was a place in Euston, on Euston High Road, I think it was. and they used to sell size 10 stilettos, right? And we used to walk past as youngsters and laugh and da-da-da-da, and you see these guys taking makeup, trying to look as effeminate as possible with more makeup than you've ever seen any female ever wear before. And it was just going, you know, too far, but it was almost a laugh, right? But now these same guys who are transvestites or fetishists or whatever you want to call them, ADPs, I've heard them called, they're now seen as like a normal group of society. Look, and I'll be candid. I do believe there are people who are confused, right? They think they're men, or some men think they're women. Fine, but it's the guys that dress up as women who force that on other people, force it down their throat, literally. They're the ones that get my goat, make me sick. And I hope there's a tumultuous change in society where they're seen as being fetishists rather than women.
Yes, me too.
That was a long answer, sorry.
No, that's a good answer. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for calling, James. And thank you for sharing your peak story. It was great. Cheers.
Thank you. Take care. Thanks.
All right, bye. Okay, so Emmy BL with your £10. Really looking forward to you coming to the woke Republic of Brighton and Hove. Whoop, whoop. Let's all get our turfing hats on. Oh my goodness, that's going to be amazing. Somebody said I should get private security. I am inclined to agree. That would be great, wouldn't it? When we went to New York, let me just do my super chat. So impressed by Kellie-Jay and all the women in Bristol on Sunday. You are welcome, Clown Socks, and thank you for your £8.99. And Jacqueline Malone with your £20. Oh, yeah, that's such a cute little super chat. I'm supposed to be able, I think, to put that somewhere so people can see, but I don't know how to do it. So the line is free. I'm going to take one more call because my husband's come back from the gym. I've still broken my fingers, but I'm not wearing, I've got my rings mended. I'm getting my rings mended, but I've twisted it in a dough hook. So I don't know if any of you make bread, but I've got a KitchenAid. And as I was trying to close it, I had my hand on there. Oh, my goodness. Rin Wesley, we need Kelly on Tim Pool and the Daily Wire. I have been on with Tim Pool and the absolutely amazing Libby Emmons, who is an incredible woman. And Tim Pool does super work. But yes, I was on. No. So this is TERF Talk Tuesday. This is episode 1. You have joined me this evening. If I'm going to wait 2 more minutes to see if anybody calls, and if they don't, I'm going to call it a day. Yes, it was painful. I'm so far ahead of you. So if you ring now, you will get through. Such a middle-class injury, says Rebecca. Look, I was making pizza. It's much cheaper to make pizza with a Tesco's 00 flour, I'll have you know, than buying even cheapy frozen pizzas, and it's much nicer. Yeah, it was a middle class. Oh my gosh, just tried to, my whole hand just went round the mixer like that. What does the term peak mean? What it means is that I heard it years ago by a woman who used to go by the name of H on Mumsnet. Brilliant. Very, I always imagined H because she sounds so wise. It's a bit like, who else is on Mumsnet who's amazing? Dayton. So both of those women, I always imagine are about 105 because they're so wise. And H looks about 15. She's incredible. She's from Scotland. Okay. That's the best flour for pizza. It is, Rebecca. Absolutely loved your hair on Saturday. Right. Okay. I think this has been a success. If you want to call next time, it will be the same number. I will be sending it out. If you want to receive updates from Standing for Women or Adult Human Female Store, you can just subscribe to the website. You can just ask to get email updates. If you want to be part of what we do, you can become a member of Standing for Women. And what we really love you to do, is to be part of us and be our message and be the billboard. I've thoroughly enjoyed this evening. So being the billboard means stickering. We are updating our, if you find it like wading through treacle, trying to actually be the billboard, on our adulthumanfemale.store or adulthumanfemale.us, fear not, people, because what we have now is a much cleaner website. We relaunch adulthumanfemale.store tomorrow. We have got our sparkly female t-shirts. They are still 20% off. As soon as they come in, forget it. They're going up to full price. But it's been an absolute joy. TERF Talk Tuesdays. That's from me to you. If you call, if you say your bit, if you take this issue and grit your teeth and bear it, then I promise we will win. It's impossible not to. If you have courage where you really, really didn't know you would find it, then I promise we will win. We are growing in number. We are absolutely swelling with courage. It is upon these hills that many of us will die. I am totally, absolutely convinced that if we stand together and if we use that word no, and we definitely mean it, I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because unknown caller, I'm going to answer. Oh, you got me just before I was about to say the final line. So good evening, caller.
Good evening. Hello.
Hello. You don't have to say what your name is. You can just speak if you like, or you can tell us who you are.
Yeah, sorry, I just got you just when you're going to leave. Yeah, just wanted to say you're an incredible inspiration. You give me a lot of strength, actually, to, you know, at least do small bits here and there, you know, writing letters and stuff like that. Yeah, you're just an incredible woman. I was in a drama group recently in East London. Like, it was a new group for supposedly mental health. And I've got 2 conditions. I've got ADHD combined type, and I've got Asperger's high functioning. And yeah, in the end, I had to leave the group because they were literally asking us to introduce ourselves based on our pronouns. And it felt really invasive. Based on these conditions, or the Asperger's, you do struggle with gender identity, but I've finally grown into being a man, and I was happy. And I'm now having to deal with like being rejected from places that are forcing us to have to say stuff that, you know, we're healthy enough, some of us now, to know, oh, we're happy with the gender that we are. And yeah, what they're doing is incredibly triggering, and it's wrong. So yeah.
I mean, you obviously have got to a place where you are a little more resilient. How do you think teenagers who have ADHD or high functioning autism, how do you think they navigate this landscape?
How do you mean?
Well, we know that autism can, or a diagnosis of autism can mean that somebody is more vulnerable to transgender ideology.
Yes.
Do you fear for sort of teenagers with
I fear greatly, because like my whole life basically I've been like, since I was a little kid, I've been this like mini unexplainable feminist, and you know, people try to pin it on being gay, and I used to just always observe human behaviors, and I always knew that there was a lot of misogyny in society, and I was, you know, huge Buffy fan, and growing up for years and years, everyone thought he's just going on about female empowerment because he's a gay guy and he just looked up to this character on TV. But it wasn't. She was just the added bonus, if you like, or the thing that got me through this insane world where nobody would, you know, everybody would just reject anything I was saying about what's wrong with people being misogynistic and sexist. And, you know, to the point of trying, you know, I've reached a stage where even like one of my best friends who's gay, you know, he started to, basically he did a trans movie for Channel 4.
Right.
And I remember this was in recent times when he really wanted to desperately show this movie to everybody. So he was kind of making sure his family watched it, and he was obsessed with like stuff that happens to trans people and when they go through rape. And the reason I found it bizarre is because I found that I couldn't talk to him about just rape that actual women go through. Or I'm trying sort of to say to him, yeah, but what about there are like, you know, domestic abuse numbers on the ASDA receipts. So, you know, it isn't over. The struggle that women are going through is not over. But for some reason, him as a gay guy, he seems to be so sensitive and somehow obsessed with trans women's, you know, domestic abuse rather than biological women. And I've, you know, all of my years of, you know, having incredible female role models like Buffy, but then in real life, my mom and my sisters, and all this stuff has given me this kind of immense armor. So I know what I see when I see it.
Yeah.
And yet he was basically trying to change my mind almost. And almost like a total lack of emotions or not connected to what real women are actually going through. I just found it very bizarre. So if that makes any sense.
Yes, it totally does. Thank you so much for calling. It's really nice to talk to you, and best of luck. All right, cheers.
You too, bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for everybody who was brave enough to call. Thank you for joining me. We will be doing this again at 8 o'clock next Tuesday. TERF Talk Tuesdays. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Look, you keep calling in. I'll answer the phone. I promise that we can't lose. And let me just say, you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.